how to lose weight without counting calories. What is up guys, Austin here, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be covering how to lose weight without counting calories. And so first off, before we dive into the topic of the video, I wanted to discuss, do you actually need to count calories to lose weight? Absolutely not. But if I told you that you were in debt and you had to look at your finances and figure out how to pay off that debt, would you kind of freeball everything and eyeball, see how much you're kind of spending, see how much you're kind of making, and try to guess at it? Or would you sit down and track your finances, track how much you made, track how much you needed to spend, track how much you needed to save up to pay off that debt? So no, tracking calories is absolutely not necessary for weight loss, but it sure as hell helps. It definitely teaches you the portion sizes, because a lot of people underestimate the amount that they're eating, and so they'll eat a lot more than they think they are and end up not being in a calorie deficit, which means they're not going to lose weight and not reach their goals, and they're going to be discouraged because they think that they are paying attention to how many calories they're eating, but they're not as accurate as they could be. So while yes, you don't exactly need to count calories, it definitely helps a lot in helping you look at portion sizes and figure out how much food actually looks like versus the serving sizes they have in the box. And so now, without further ado, let's get into the topic of the video. So for me, I like to think about using the 3 plates and 2 snacks method. So you have 3 plates, and these 3 plates are representative of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you have 3 plates, and so each plate, you're gonna try to fill it with half of it as veggies, 50% of that, a quarter of it or 25% of that as your protein of choice, preferably lean proteins, but you can use whatever protein source you'd like. Just know that more fattier cuts of protein will contain more calories and be less filling, because of the nature of the macros itself and how they affect your body. And then the remaining quarter will be your carbs and fats. And so some common questions that I see with the plates is that, does every meal have to contain half veggies? No. Obviously, if you're eating something like breakfast, typically people don't have a plate full of broccoli for breakfast. It's kind of weird. It's just not natural. Some people just don't like having veggies for breakfast, and that's totally fine. Instead, just fill something up with the entire plate. Be honest with yourself. Don't be stacking the plate like 10 miles high and saying it's okay, I can eat this many Pop-Tarts. No. As long as you can fit your entire breakfast onto the plate of your choice, that's one plate. Count it as one plate, move on, don't overthink it. And then now for your snack, each day you get 2 optional snacks. You by all means do not have to have these snacks at all. If you feel very full and satisfied and you don't have any cravings throughout the day, you can totally skip out on these snacks. Better on you. You'll be eating less calories throughout the day, and you'll just be able to have more leeway throughout your diet if you just stuck to the 3 plates. But obviously not every day is going to be a breeze. Some days you're just gonna have very high cravings for something. Some days you'll feel it's like a breeze and you can easily move through the diet. And so for these snacks, it could be something like fruit, it could be something like a bowl of salad, it could be something like a donut, something you're really craving. Whatever you're craving, just have that snack. You can have up to 2 of these snacks. And obviously, 1 snack does not mean you eat an entire plate of cookies. It means you can have 1 cookie or 2 cookies, and that's it. Try to limit that. Don't go overboard. Don't have that all or nothing mentality. Know that you can have these snacks twice a day and then forget about it and move on, and don't stress too much about it. Just have them to satisfy your cravings, to just keep you happy, keep you enjoying the diet, and that's the most important thing. And also, instead of these snacks, you can have alcohol. So 1 serving of alcohol, this is typically like 12 ounces of beer, I believe, 5 ounces of wine, or a shot of liquor. And so now remember, this is either or. So you either have a snack or you either have alcohol. This does not mean you can have 2 snacks and 2 servings of alcohol. This is one or the other. So if in a particular day you want alcohol, then you can have that and instead skip out on your snacks, or the other way around. And now another simple tip for losing weight without counting calories. For your drinks, you want to maintain your water intake. I recommend drinking 2 to 4 liters of water a day. This is just for general health and to keep you full and to keep you hydrated. Another thing is you can have black coffee as often as you want. Black coffee contains near 0 calories, so obviously it doesn't really add up all that much unless you're having like 50 cups a day. But at that point, I would question why you're drinking that much coffee, because it's coffee rather than the calories itself. So you might have a coffee problem rather than eating too many calories at that point. But besides the point, let's move on. You can have tea as much as you want. Now keep in mind this is a 0 calorie tea. This can be either just steep tea from a tea bag that contains nothing, or you can add some 0 calorie sweetener to that if you don't prefer your tea very strong or plain. Again, this is just kind of like the water thing, the water and coffee thing. It contains near 0 calories, and so it's very hard to rack up the amount of calories in that, and it's just more water, so it helps keep you hydrated and helps keep you full. Another thing for drinks, 0 calorie sodas, you can have as many of those as you want. Typically, people don't drink like 10 cans a day, so I just say as much as you want. Unless you have a soda problem, if you are drinking upwards of 10 liters a day, then you might have a soda problem, and not because you're eating too many calories. You just straight up have a soda problem, and I would see someone about that. And now moving on, the last component of losing weight without counting calories. This is probably one of the biggest ones because it pertains to a lot of people. When they go out to restaurants, they feel like they can let loose and enjoy themselves, which by all means you can, but it's not an excuse for you to binge and eat thousands and thousands of calories. You could very well reset or reverse your progress if you're eating thousands and thousands of calories when your deficit itself is not that steep in the first place. And obviously it's not going to be that steep, because if you want slow sustainable fat loss, you want to keep your deficit to as minimum as possible. So here are a few tips that I recommend when you are eating out at restaurants. These apply to the meals, and then I'll get to the other two, which apply to the rest of the day, and how you can adjust your routine for when you know that you're going to eat out later in the day, or just when you know that you're going to be eating out during the day. And so the 3 things are: always ask for your dressings and sauces on the side. This keeps you in control of how much sauce and dressing you put on your foods. That way you don't accidentally add hundreds and hundreds of calories into your food, into your meal, just because of a simple sauce or dressing, because you know that restaurant dressing and sauces are going to have hundreds and hundreds of calories because they use the full fat, they use full everything, because they want their food to be so flavorful. And quite frankly, restaurants don't care about your gains, and they don't care about your weight loss goals. They just want to make their food taste good and to keep you coming back. Second thing for restaurants is that a salad is always your best option, because no matter where you go, a salad is pretty much the same thing. It's just going to be a bunch of healthy, low-calorie veggies. But what makes the difference for salads is, again, the dressings and the other toppings that might come on top. So just be wary of that. You can typically ask for that on the side, and then you can control how much and how many calories that you are adding, how many extra toppings and dressings you are adding onto your salad to keep it on the lower calorie side. Third thing is, as best as you can, try to skip dessert. I know sometimes it might be hard to do that, but try to skip dessert. Dessert usually contains the most amount of calories because most desserts are literally just sugar and fat. And these provide little to no nutrients, and they just make the food taste really damn good and make it really unhealthy and full of calories. So try to skip out on dessert whenever you can. However, if you go to some world famous restaurant in your area and you have to get the dessert because it has raving reviews and it tastes super good and it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity, then by all means have that for the experience, have that and enjoy yourself. But what I want you to do, if you know that you're going to be having that dessert, let's say you're going out for dinner and you know that you're going to be having that world famous dessert later on that day, I want you to skip out on the snacks and alcohols. You can keep your 3 plates, but drop the snacks and alcohols for the day, and instead you can use those 2 credits, we shall say, and then use that towards your dessert. That way you can save on some calories, and that kind of serves as a buffer, and you can enjoy yourself without the guilt, without feeling bad about eating all the extra calories, and enjoy yourself. And the last thing I want to say about restaurants, I know that this might be hard to do, is that don't feel the need that you need to get your money's worth and finish and clear your plate and lick it clean, because I know exactly how this feels. As someone who grew up not well off, not wealthy, I always felt the need that I had to finish my food because my parents would always get on me about wasting money and always getting your money's worth, because they grew up poor, so they had that mentality of always trying to get your money's worth, always trying to finish your food because you might not know where you get food next. Because let's face it, if you're living in poverty, you want to maximize the amount you can get. But when it comes to restaurant food, it is chock full of calories, and if you are really full, then stop. Don't feel the need to finish your food. You can always take it home, have it as leftovers, or you can just toss it if you really don't want it. But don't feel the need to overstuff yourself and stuff yourself to the point where you feel sick, because that's just gonna lead down a bad cycle. It's gonna make you feel like you need to binge whenever you go out to restaurants, and quite frankly, it just doesn't help you with the whole self-control aspect. And if you can tell yourself to stop when you're full, you'll have way better self-control of what you put into your mouth and what you can do for your body. Because if you can control what you put into your own mouth, I guarantee you will be able to control everything else in your life. And that about wraps up the video. I hope that this helps you guys how to lose weight without counting calories. It's certainly not easy. I do recommend counting calories. I think it is a very useful skill to have, to be able to look at portion sizes, look at this certain amount of food, and be able to estimate the amount of calories are in that. It's definitely a very good skill to have when you get used to weighing food, when you get used to seeing portion sizes. But it's not necessary. It can very well be done. You just have to be smart about it and use these tactics that I've shared with you in this video. Anyways, hope you guys learned something to apply to your everyday life. Subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next one.